Greetings, this is your girl Minister Asia. I'm back for another video. Let's go ahead and say our mantra and get into the contents of this video. For I know who I am and whom that I stand, whom empowers me to be. I am an ambassador for Christ. This is the hour to recognize me. Well, today is day 8. And we're moving right along with this faithful 40. And I promise you, this faithful 40 is such a blessing. It's life changing. It's bringing about immense differences in my life. It's challenging me to examine myself to ensure that I be in faith. Like the premise of last night's Night Watch video episode, No Stone Unturned, was to let you guys know that we have to look at our life with a fine-tooth comb. We have to get everything in order according to the word of God, and we can't let anything separate us from the love of God. So today's day 8. It's all about empowering. I still have my pen in my book from where I was taking my notes. And I wanted to just slow down because I noticed after I put my book up there and I show it to you guys, then the video starts going down. So I was like, I don't even know if I should continue to do that until I get a better quality camera. But I want to show you guys that I'm doing the work. Isn't that something? I have to steal a line from Iyanla. I don't share the same belief system on every area with her, but I do believe in the fact that in order to fix your life, you have to do the work. And these past 8 days, I have been doing the work. I have been reading this book. I have been praying. I have been consecrating. I have been finding various focus areas, and I have to make sure that I'm doing everything as unto God, and I don't want to let anything separate me from the love of God. And so your girl had to make life changing decisions, and sticking with it, and I love it, and I'm happy about what I am doing on this faithful 40. And when you make a definitive decision about for God and for his kingdom, and you put your foot down, because people can never respect boundaries that you don't define or that you don't make, and so when you make those boundaries in your life, that if people love you, for instance Maurice, because he loves me, he's getting on board with my desires, and he's in full compliance with the decisions that I made because he loves me. And if God will have a thing or a person be for you, when you decide to stand up for righteousness' sake, it will work out for your good. Because remember, Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. So even when it doesn't feel good, even when it hurts, it will still work out for your good. The next thing I want to say about the faithful 40 is that as we talked about awareness and we're getting to know who we are, we tapped into godliness and commitment, and we went on to do all of the other characteristics in which we have been embodying. Like on day 2, day 1 was awareness, day 2 we talked about godliness, day 3 was commitment, on day 4 we talked about preparation, and as we were preparing, our characteristic number 4 was commitment, and so that means number 3 was something different. Let's see, I'm going through my book. That's something I like to do, everything accurately. Aligning, and as we begin to align with the things of God, we talked about truth, awareness, and godliness, truth, commitment. Day 5, which was the day 5 was the day of grace. We talked about binding and loosing ourselves. And our characteristic number 5 was that of patience. And I referred you back to the video, you have need of patience, rush hour 4. And day 6 was the day of man. We were talking about connecting, and we talked about capacity on day 6. And yesterday was day 7. We talked about wholeness and healing, and then our attribute was wholeness. As I was becoming more aware, patient, truth, I have been being committed to this work, and I have been seeing my own capacity. It opened me up This 40-day soul fast will open you up and remove layers as you begin to examine yourself. It's purging out everything that was lying dormant in your soul or implanted in there that you may not even have been aware. My miscarriage was 11 years ago. I love my son. I talk about him all the time because I don't want to forget it, the fact that I was pregnant, and I don't weep about it all the time. Sometimes I talk about it in glee and in joy. But the Lord allowed me to empty myself last night on the night watch episode of the Ambassador's Hour to show me, hey, it's still in there, like Prego, Ragu, whatever, Ragu, one of those sauces is in there. And if it's still in there, then it has to be healed. If there's a womb, a gaping womb in your soul, wound, W-O-N-D, in your soul, it has to be healed. It has to be mended. He mends the broken pieces. And in order to become whole, which is perfect, entire, and wanting nothing, you have to be willing to relinquish those things and let it go and give it to him. Cast your cares upon me, for I care for you. And that's what I've been doing in this process. And my whole countenance is changing. And I knew that I said, I want to be looking different, my double chin. No, I feel so different. The weight has been lifted off of me, which brings us to today, day 8, empowering. Isn't that something? The literal definition for the word empower means to give someone the authority or power to do something. Make someone stronger and more confident. Isn't that something? Especially in controlling their life and claiming their rights. When I looked over after the healing and the wholeness, then God empowered me to take control of my life concerning my rights. I have a right to be a wife. I don't have to be a side chick. I'm never a side. Like, I remember Dr. Melendez told me when I found out about Maurice being married back in 2004, she told me, she said, Asia, you are so beautiful. You are such a wonderful asset to this vision center. Because at the time, I wasn't a vision center manager. I was her optometric assistant. And I would do her triaging, charting, and I would pre-examine patients prior to them going in to see Dr. Melendez. And she told me, she said, Asia, you are always an entree and never a side dish. Isn't that something? And I'm like, okay, that's so awesome. And sometimes you can go through life, and life experiences, they mold us and shape us, and they affect the way we translate and the way we view ourselves. Isn't that something? So I went through so much stoicism. When you're stoic, that means that you don't display emotion.